do in terms of, because I did this in the beginning of the month. So.
Yeah, you read it ages ago. Oh, we're live now. Right. Hello. Sorry for being a bit late because we was waiting for 12 people who haven't showed up. So Ramsey and Cole. But still, nevertheless. But Carlos is here, so it's just fine. Thank you. We are here to talk about Guardians, because Guardians Book 3 of Beyond the Frontier. That's it. You know, that's a really nice cover, actually. That's the cover of my audiobook one. I saw that. I thought, oh, that's actually really nice. Because the old books is actually a ship, which I don't even know what the old book is. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to go and spoiler review. We're just going to chat about the book, what we like, we didn't like, go from start to finish. I did this the first time on audio, so I've got a complete different perspective. Yeah, that's it, basically. That's what we're going to do. Obviously, I'm Joe, Uni 151, which is not very active at the moment. I apologise, but children have been homeschooling, and that's it, really. Struggling with life. Carlos, would you like to introduce yourself? And you're muted as well, just so you know. Oh, you're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
I was picking up a slight echo, so I was like, let me
go
and switch the thing here. Once we got going. Of course, when you test out all this stuff, everything works out well. I was picking up a slight echo.
Oh, there's an echo coming through now, actually.
There we go. Let me go with this.
There you go. It's all broken.
There you go. I have the edit playing in the background here. I'm trying to listen to all those kind of words you have to say as well. So, yeah. So no, the book was awesome. I listened on Audible and on read some of the text here. And you said you wanted me to read a little bit of the intro on there?
Yes. Do you want to just tell them about yourself first before we get into the book?
Okay.
Just anyone's watching.
Oh yeah. So been a big follower of BookTube for quite a while. I've been back in the books for about 2 or 3 years. Carlos is my name. Spire Metro Books is my channel. Is about to launch. Finished up the first video, working on the thumbnail now of a giant book haul, over 100 books. And then yeah, so it's quite long. Most of my channel is going to be on fantasy, sci-fi, and business books. I actually have an MBA and work for a small manufacturer doing sales and marketing. So I really enjoy business side too. So it's a little bit different than some of the stuff that's on BookTube, but we try to make it where it's not boring. So yeah, so that's the plan.
Go on then. Right, shall we crack on about that book then? Yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm so excited about it, man. Yeah, so here we go. So it says this Admiral Geary's first fleet of the Alliance has survived the journey deep into an unexplored interstellar space, a voyage that led to the discovery of a new alien species, including a new enemy and a possible ally. Now Geary's mission is to ensure the safety of the Midway star system, which has revolted against the Syndicate world's empire, an empire that is on the brink of collapse. To complicate matters further, Geary also needs to return safely to Alliance space, not only with representatives of the Dancers and alien species, but also with Invincible, a captured warship that could possibly be the most valuable object in human history. Despite the peace treaty that Geary must adhere to at all costs, the Syndicate world's regime threatens to make the fleet's journey back grueling and perilous. And even if Geary escorts Invincible and the Dancers' representatives home unharmed, the Syndic's attempt to spread dissent and political unrest may have already sown the seeds of the Alliance destruction. That's pretty good little blurb there.
It definitely explains everything that happens.
Yeah.
Something I just want to talk about first off about regarding everything. I actually think it's probably one of the strongest of the 3. Now, even though the first one finishes off obviously from Lost Fleet, Christ, sorry. Now, I like that because, you know, carried on aliens, all this stuff's going on. But Geary and the Alliance just seem so overpowered. They're literally just trashing all the aliens, weren't they? And even when they come up against the bear cows, they trashed them and all this stuff was happening. Mm-hmm. But, like, I mean, even in this, I still find they're very overpowered, aren't they? What do you reckon? Like, there don't seem to be any.
Yeah, it's like
threats, really.
I think there is some threats, but the threats come in the unknown. Like,
yeah, it's like
yeah.
Go. You say.
Yeah, so you know they are the most powerful, and because of Geary, now they have the tactics to go with the powerful. Because before they used to just throw bodies in ships. Yeah, throw bodies in ships and we'll keep making more, right? And then when they basically added Gary in there with the tactical elements of how the old world used to do combat, that it was basically like they went up so far above everyone else. So all of the like risk comes into like, oh, we didn't know their technology. Oh, we didn't know you existed. Oh, the world political side of things. We didn't know that you were part of this or that, right? And so then there's like a period of time whenever there's a climactic moment in the book where it's like there's an unknown and they don't have an immediate answer to it, and then they basically will start a section of movements, and then based on their reaction, they're always like, "Oh, here's the perfect plan." You know,
they always think of something. Or if someone random comes up with something, or like this little suggestion, it's like, yeah, that's what it really just like. I don't feel like that anyone's going to die, so I don't feel like there's any sort of like, oh no, what's going to happen? Like, I know I'm jumping all over the place. I apologize about this. But like at the end of the book, what happens? I thought, right, okay, these are going to be some new interesting baddies. What's going to go on? Smashed them, absolutely smashed them, trash them, nothing. I was like, okay, I'm still interested, but these guys aren't a threat because it was one ship and they just done what they did. Now I liked the battle, which was really cool, but you understand what I mean. I don't feel like the Enigmas, I don't feel threatened by them. The cow ones, they're not leaving their area because they don't go out to hunt or do anything. They just got their little area.
Right.
The spider wolves or the jumpers, they're all right. You know, they're not, as far as we know, doing anything bad. I think they're quite happy doing what they're doing. You know, there's no real threats unless a humongous correlation or something try and take on the Alliance.
Yeah, so the way I looked at it, it wasn't so much of a drawback. Normally, like this type of thing feels like plot armor, and it'd be like, oh, okay. But because we've had so many discussions and done so much research, knowing the background of the author, Jack Campbell, is his pen name, where he was an officer in the Navy. I feel like the Alliance is analogous to the U.S. Navy, where they have the most powerful tactics and weaponry and whatnot, and individual enemies might do a thing or two better, right? And then the whole tactics and the way that the logistics and all that always ends up supporting where he goes in. And basically, as he comes up against different entities, he basically is like picking the weakness of this. So like the dancers could backstab us in any moment if for somebody who hasn't read the books yet. And they are way faster and more maneuverable than anything that our ships could deal with. And they seem to be holding back.
Definitely.
And so there's some mystery there. That force field technology that the cow bears have is so
to stop to move projectiles as well, like something projectiles just bounce off.
Yeah, so we have no idea how to do it, which is what makes the Invincible ship so valuable, is that they're trying to get it back into their space so that way they could conduct the proper research on it and try to figure out how did they do these vast ships, and maybe some of this technology that's in there. And but it's like you said, they don't move, so there's not a risk. So that's why I kind of take it as, and we've had ships blow up. Anytime it's going to be convenient, the whole the ship's only lasting a year or two or three is going to come up to basically cause a problem.
That's going to pop up again soon.
Exactly.
Next book.
The one thing I do like about the how he solves the problems, it's not all on Captain
Team
Blackjack.
effort. Yeah, there's a lot of people who die. That's nice. Like, you do feel the cast contribute. It's not just him solely.
Yeah, and then they have the engineer, who's essentially like a true crew chief kind of character, where they went to a non-officer to come up with the solutions that wouldn't be in the book, kind of thing. And I thought that was a nice kind of callback to how things actually can work out,
Well, you get stuck in your little box. You've always done stuff this way, and then they got to ask someone else who does things completely different to solve their problems. And it worked out. Something about the cows, the bear cows, and the big ship. What do you think about the ghosts? Do you think it's a program or it's just in their head? What do you reckon?
I think that I don't know if it's either of those. Like, because it hasn't given us enough details to basically make
it's very like it's very like
right,
could be that.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's the bear cows. It's just something, right? It's like a feeling that there's something else in the room with you, and so I don't know. I'm kind of what I honestly think it is, right? Because the bear cows have nothing that has given us a clue that they have something like this, right? I wonder if they are cattle, right? If that was their inspiration and they're herd animals, there tends to be symbiotic or periodic relationships with other species in those things.
Something. Go on. Yeah, I've got an idea. Go
on. So I'm wondering if there is. We don't have a new race, which are every book that's gone through the series. There's been, and then we get an expansion into the world, and there's been a new race in. I'm wondering if he's trying to do a long callback on that one, where there's something that's a little bit like that.
Wasn't there a panel? I can't remember. It was obviously a few books ago. The Bear Cows panel, wasn't it like? It wasn't like a standard panel. It was very. Well, it wasn't gooey. It was different. Well, it was something about it wasn't right, or there wasn't a panel. I can't remember.
You're talking about when they went and got the prisoners and they were looking at the controls.
When they was in the Bear Cows ship.
Yeah.
When the controls, it was like really different to how any human was. It like different? Because what you're saying about like, like some animals have like, do stuff with other animals, they get along and stuff. I wonder if the ship's not alive, but there's something in the ship.
That's what I think. I think that there's something else in there that you think about it. They haven't cleared the entire ship, right? Because it's so massive and they only have so many personnel. And honestly, those personnel get freaked out going into the nooks and crevices. And then on top of that, they have like multiple areas of control, right? Mm. So I could definitely think that there's something else I think that is lurking in there. And we had it where the breaching. I'm going to jump forward in time.
We're all over the place. Don't worry about it. There's no structure to this.
Yeah. So when the Syndix is the main protagonist, I mean the main antagonist in the series, is a human species that is going against the Alliance. They have an attack on the ships, and they go for invincible. And there's a moment where they are basically losing their minds inside their ship. And I thought that was one of the best parts of the book, and best parts of the series was that whole sequence of events, because it was like you had the military action, you had the political, who are they? Are they part of the Syndix? Are they something else? Because they were all in unmarked weapons and gear and whatnot. And then on top of that, you had the whole intrigue with the weaponries. The Marines actually got to show what they could do, and they were losing their minds trapped in that room.
Well, they were floating backwards. They're shooting and going back, smashing into walls, trying to get away. There's something in there, because the thing is, take the size of it away, whether it's a standard battleship or it's a super battleship. All these people have been around a ship. Like a lot of these people would have been in corridors there's nothing about, or like when in the war power outages, or when they're attacking other, if the Syndix were attacking, they board and all that stuff. They would have been on ships where stuff's happened. Like there would be known about dark and stuff.
Right.
So for a lot of them to lose their minds on this one specific ship, obviously indicates there's something going on. Because when the smart people, when they got it back to Alliance, they went in there. They said they went in there and they come out as quick as they went in. Now, for them to do that, they've obviously walked ships with no one on it. You know what I mean? Like they've been in rooms that are empty. It's not like they've been on a derelict ship. So something's got to be going on, because he's made the point of it so many times now. There's only so many times, he's got to use that gun now. He's brought it, you know what I mean? Something's going on there.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I think. And I think the biggest part of that is, the goal is to get back home to Earth. And so literally it's like bringing back a parasite or some alien not that you've been introduced to, some unknown Cthulhu or like all the sci-fi trope type things of like coming back to Earth and messing it up. Like I think that's the perfect vessel plot wise for that to happen, right? So we'll see. I'm definitely this book ended with a lot of open questions that are really intriguing for the next few books.
Do you reckon it could be AI? Or do you reckon that's a question?
Yeah, I think it would be difficult to be an AI. None of the other indications that we've had about the Kicks or the Bear Cows have said that they have like an advanced AI system or anything that was controlling them. The only thing where it could come off as an AI is because they're so animalistic. Like if they had basically somebody that was, that they was treating them as food or whatnot, like who the farmer would be, and so that's the only like guess on that. There's nothing else that's moving on the ship. There's no like control arms for the AI to like have. There's no mini robots running around.
That's it. There's no like little eye looking. There's no hint to anything like that.
Right.
It's either going to be something's in the ship, like you said, another species, something built in the ship. But then would that happen? Because apart from a couple pet like dog-looky things or whatever they said, they wiped everything out. So would they entrust something to be in their ship when they're so paranoid?
That's why I would say it would have to be something that is something that came with them in that process, right? You know, like the birds that sit on the back and click.
That's it.
Ticks, type of thing. Like that's the only way. It's because anything else that was competitive was they're genocidal.
That's it. Do you think the space wolves ate some of them bear cows for chow? Because them space wolves got to be meat eaters, the spiders / wolf heads. There's no way they eat grass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if we had it because in the previous book, I'm trying to think. It was Enigma Space, but Enigma Space would only go so far, and then it was the Kicks, and then it was even further was the Spider Wolves, right?
Because the Spider Wolves, the Spider Wolves were in preparation, waiting if the Kicks would come through. Because the Kicks don't venture out. They obviously must have gone on like a stampede at one point. Yeah. So I just got like messages from people who haven't showed up. Have just started messaging me.
Yeah. No. I don't know. There's nothing that's shown us in the books that where the Spider Wolves hunt them. The Spider Wolves were always on the defensive, and they're the fast ones out of the group. So you got like the herds and the bear cows, and you have like the cheetahs where it could be a predator, but they could also be the gazelles where they're the runners. So I don't know. They didn't have anything. They were literally guarding each one of the gates. In their own airspace, so I find it hard to believe that. What do you think?
The space wolves, the jumpers they call them, don't they? Or dancers. They've got to be. I think the meat eaters. Look at spiders anyway. If something that big, unless there's a giant fly, they've got to eat something meaty. You know what I mean? Or fleshy. Yeah, they've got wolf heads as well. They say they kind of look like a cross between a wolf and a spider. So they've got to be, if you've got a wolf face with the teeth, they've got to be carnivores, haven't they? Now, if they're flying about and they see like a nice juicy cow, I'm just saying, like, you get a bit hungry sometimes.
I mean,
at some point they must have crossed paths,
right?
Anyway,
we didn't go to their home, we didn't see their planet, and so if they're the closest to us inside the series so far of the alien species. And so they should be sustaining off of, their home world's, resources like we would, that's the part that makes the most sense to me. But
I'm not saying they go out and farm them. I'm just saying, drinking about to eat of them. Had a few.
Oh, do you think would they eat them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It might mess up their patterns. That's too messy.
Yes. Now, what do you feel? I'll talk about the fighting on the ship. The fighting in this book, the space, like as in like the Marines, all that stuff. I think this is the best book for what the Marines can do. Yeah, come on then. So Ramsey's going to come on now. Come on, Ramsey, hurry up. I think the space, the Marines fighting and everything that was going on, I think this was definitely the best book out. Like, there's a few things that happened which were quite nice, but you got so much of it, you know. I don't know. What would you reckon? How do you think? Do you reckon? Do you think it's good? Like, you know, I think it was one of the best ones so far with all the.
So I didn't read the first series, but out of this series, it not only was it the best book, it surpassed my expectations immensely because it's the middle book in the series. Right, there's a five book series, and we're in book 3. This was the book that I expected the least amount, you know, of because of middle book syndrome, and it was outstanding. The Marines finally got to show off the book covers a little bit, where they got a little bit of action, right? Because the bouncing grenades.
Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I thought we moved back to 5, guys.
No, because I asked Star Night, and she said, no, 4's fine. She's not even here.
Yeah. No, it's okay. But the bouncing grenades, that they were adding in weaponry in terms of that's plausibly futuristic without being too outside of the realm that they've created, because everything's kind of understandable. There's no like time travel or if
it could be real, this is how it could possibly be.
Exactly. And then the fact that it was so effective in creating like the whole dust cloud effect. And I could see that in a movie. I could visualize that in my mind's eye of, you know, how that would affect, you know, with the stealth technology that they have. And so that I thought was awesome. The tactics where they were making fake control points or points of interest inside of the ship and then defending and all that. Like it not only was it good action, it was interesting and different, you know.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the book. Just the fight in the kick ship was just so super, super cool. And the fact that they had pre-established the haunting effect and then used the haunting effect to good, like very well. Like I thought that was great.
Exactly.
No, I do. I even think the Marines on this is definitely even trumps the ones from the Lost Fleet, the first bit, because you had a few little Marine battles and a few things happened, but it was always sort of Gary's kind of watching what happened a bit, and it's kind of always going, you know what I mean? But there was just so much going on. It's just like, again, I know just because I listened to it, so I was a lot more like immersed in it because I was listening, and it's just like it's just going on and on. It's like loads. I was like, I don't know what I was doing at the time. Like, yeah, go on. And then like the syndics are flying back into the walls, bashing and stuff. It's like, yeah, go on, get in there. Yeah, I had fun.
It was really cool. I like the at the end where we had the alternate humans who were like the Mohawk helmet guy, whoever that was. I thought that was pretty cool too. Where
metal? Oh, sorry, what they call it? Because he had all the badges, Badge Man, wasn't it, or something they called it?
Mr. Metals.
Mr. Metals, that's it.
And you know, they hadn't really been at war. So the minute that they faced an actual enemy that had been at war, they were like, whoa, and they all abandoned ship. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they didn't know how to like change their formations around because they always have a pretty formation which looks like a bird. I do like that, and something they hinted at was they did kind of answer it, but I don't know if it's a good enough answer in a way or what it's going to lead to. But they said like, why did the humans go so far and stop, and then they always went the other way? And they come back. At first they said, I don't know if something stopped them. Then they said later on that it's because they didn't want no one to go further on to then take the resource and stuff. So they stopped everyone. Now, in theory, if they stopped everyone going up, they've got all that to expand. There's nothing stopping them. So now, are they going to be bigger than what they seem and they're going to adapt? Or are there other people, you know, you don't know what's up there. They left it open. It could be huge, you know?
Yeah. Just for the people that read the book, it's basically as the galaxy, you have the spirals where all the stars are follow these like arms. Basically, they went one way down away from the inner part of the galaxy, and that's where that stop came. And then the alliance went towards the center and then consolidated into alliance. and Earth is a neutral ground where none of the empires or whatnot have control of it. Earth is still the crazy, think UN politics, kind of thing, where everybody has their own little squabbles over their little, very, very tiny piece of land.
They're still
all of this
fighting over Earth, aren't they? Like,
right,
should we defend? No, we can't defend. Oh, no. Should we look after the planet? No.
And so when the Alliance, they put a what are the warp things called again?
Gates.
Jump points, the gates.
Hypernet gate,
Gate,
they put the Hypernet gate into Soul space for a symbolic, kind of gesture, right, and for themselves, right, so they can make that journey once a year. It was very ceremonial. Well, that had basically implied that they were taking away the neutrality for all of the other, empires or whatnot in space. And so in moved this peacock of a culture and system where everything is about the show, because they've not actually had to do anything. And so now they've been ruling over Earth space, and Earth's not willing or wanting to do anything or able. What I thought about them was that saying, what's that? Great men create good men create weak men, or something like that.
The great men, it's basically hard times make good times make hard weak people. Basically, weak people then make hard times. Then hard make great men. You know what I mean? It's that's that's kind of what it is. That's basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, once Earth went neutral and everybody left, and there's all these wars for the Alliance and the Syndics, they've gotten really good and really strong and more powerful and all this weaponry. And once they stopped the expansion on the other side, the only point of conflict was how showy you could get and how important can you make yourself seem to be within the culture. And so over time, they've created a shell of themselves and got very weak. And it was funny when they went into the tactics, the actual fighting, like Ramsey was talking about, where they would do the formation that was literally like the shape of a peacock or a phoenix or
bird. It was a bird, wasn't it? It looked like a bird with the wings. They lost the wings. They didn't change. They're like, no, it must stay the same.
Exactly. And they were just getting shredded, and then they just give up as soon as they actually got punched in the face a couple times. It
was funny too, because when they first looked at the ships, they go, What are those fins for? Like, they don't help with navigation or anything. And they're like, they're just decoration. It's like, why would you have decorations on a warship? Like, and it kind of makes me think about the difference between, I don't know if you've read these, but 1984 and A Brave New World. They were both like how the world will collapse. But 1984 believed that it'd be like thought control and war. And then Brave New World would basically give you everything you want. Cannonball Run kind of does the same thing. And it's that dichotomy of like these people in constant war and these people in constant pleasure, who is the one that would do better? I don't know if he was going for that, but it kind of points to that. And you kind of look at like our culture now, and without all the frills, and then our culture like around World War II. Like, our country, the US and the UK, both got very, very patriotic, both got very, very, let's do what we need to for the country. And now, as we haven't seen like a major
we've got
war,
the good times going,
patriotism has waned and a lot of things like that. So you can definitely see the difference between the two cultures.
Definitely. How do you think it's going to go now? Because I'm kind of like, I know they've got questions about the 333 thing that they bring up quite a bit about the Enigmas, but I don't feel like the Enigmas are a threat. Like, I know they've got a lot of numbers, but they don't have the big ships and they haven't got the great tactics, and because they can get around their worms, they know that's a problem. Unless they bring out something fancy, I don't see them as a problem. Like, there could be a problem, but I don't feel like, oh my god, what could happen tomorrow? Like next book, where like obviously the Kicks, unless they are raging because they lost their ship and they want to get the ship back, they're not going to go out because they're not really like that. Unless something's going to come from the Dancers, or there's new aliens out there. I mean, apart from all the politics stuff going on in the Alliance, I don't see like a major threat. Like, oh, we've got to defeat the Syndics, or who are these aliens? I'm not concerned about the Covenant humans?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that too. Like what the next, I read the first part of the next, like the blurb for the next book,
Yeah.
and it talks about 2 people go missing. So I think he's going to do some stuff internally.
Yeah.
But I think that the dancers would never do that. Like they kind of talked about, like they'll attack you if you attack them, but they're never going to be aggressors. Kind of their mindset.
Yeah.
And then the way that they brought him back at the end,
Yes.
that like I think that was just so amazing that they kept that guy. You know, something that human culture would never do. We'd have dissected him and done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
They kept him, you know, in his preserved him and brought him home. Like I don't think the dancers are ever like
No, I feel
the way they
safe with
think. Yeah, I don't think they could ever hurt us. But we could be looking at. I think this next book is going to be threats inside the Alliance, like government trying to destroy the First Fleet somehow.
Well, yeah, Block. Is it Block? What is that? He's back, and he Blotch.
They're giving him command of the new
Second
Armada.
Fleet. Yeah. They've got to find one of the Senator people's obviously in chat with the Covenant people because they knew they were turning up with these people, and they knew they were coming up with aliens. They called them impurities and all this stuff. So they knew the aliens were there, which kind of that's what I felt. They knew the aliens were there because talking about impurities and stuff. Like I'm guessing that's kind of what I guessed. And if that's the case, how do they know about aliens? Unless there's aliens further up their way, and that's why they couldn't expand anymore, possibly. I mean, yeah.
I think that at least the next book probably is going to be the internal ones, because they've set up the push-pull. You have a second Armada being built. We're not supposed to be building any Armada because we told you we're not doing any more new ships, right? We know that the entire premise of what they set up Captain Gary or Admiral Gary on the get-go was basically a suicide mission, right? And then on top of that, the ideal solution for them is to not go back home, right? To go and capture their own space and cut out their own, and live out their lives. But so many of the people within the Armada want to go home and need to go home, and Admiral Gary's basically giving them out as the goal is to go home. So that's why we all got to stay together. And so you're going to have this push-pull, where they have to go and get through those consequences of those kind of things. Well,
the Callus and the other lot, they're gone. Basically, there was none. They're pulling out anyway, but their guys have gone home. Something that I did like about this is it showed there's other little groups out there that still aren't, because there was even some that were still staying neutral to this Alliance Syndic war. So obviously the Alliance and Syndics are the huge big ones, and there's loads of other small pockets all over the place of humans. So, I mean, you don't know. Anything could pop up, really. But I do think it's going to be internal, like you said. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
Commander Avon had a good point. Jack might become the united force with the Callus Republic and former Syndic worlds. That would, I don't think that would happen. He doesn't want to lead for sure. But that's an interesting idea.
Well, something's going to happen with it, because like there's the Syndics worlds, which were right near Alliance. Even in the first series, they split and wanted to go to the Alliance, but the Alliance was like, you know what I mean? So, like, they're splintering up. Then you've got Midway and some other places near Midway, which are independent, bar being forced to be anything. Like, the Syndics can't keep going like this. And, like, all this BS they was doing, like, these are just military random stuff. We don't know how they got them doing this. And then, like, all these people jumping on, trying to blow them up and kill. All this stuff is going on. There's no way the Alliance can be like, well, we can't kill them because they're not really theirs. It's like, it's theirs. Everyone knows. They said they know. Everyone knows. There's only so much. The Syndics can't keep going like this.
Yeah, I think the Syndics are being set up to become a federation, right? There's no federation inside of the world that I know of right now, right? Where you have disparate stars that all have their own governmental systems that have agreed to go under one flag, and so it's kind of like we saw the critical moment, of the Syndics, the fall, of the great empire that with all these commands, because now they have the structures, the institutions all in place on each one of those planets, the command structures, the advanced military. There's nothing that's stopping them from being a force within their own small thing, right? And then they have the gates to transport through. So I feel like it's going to end up probably in some kind of federation kind of element where, try to clump back together. I control my own space, but I need to be bigger so that way we don't have, outside forces pushing us.
Yeah. I'm hoping that once the Beyond the Frontier is done, they wrap up the whole Syndic thing. Whatever's done with the Syndics is done. Because they've got the new series out, and I hope that a third series down the line we're not still dealing with Syndics.
Well, I think the next one is from the Syndic point of view.
No, there's another one out after that.
Okay.
Right. So then they have a series of the Syndics, the Lost Stars, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys told me about that, and I like business, so you were like, whole civilization ran by corporations. That sounds interesting. So I want to get through those, but the newest series out after that, I don't know what the premise is of it.
Because he's just released the book just now.
The Genesis one is his grandfather, Geary's grandfather, back at Old Earth, from what I remember. I'm looking it up right now.
Because he just released a book just now. Is that part of the Genesis, or is that a different one? Let me just.
The Ascendant Genesis Fleet. When did that come out? That came out 2018. Triumphant, published 2019. Boundless, Outlands 1. Yeah, this is what is the description of this one? This is the one that just came out in 2021.
I think that's the Outland series is the one that's...
Yeah, Lost Fleet Outlands. Okay, come on, Internet. Work for me here.
So I assume nobody's read that?
No. As far as I've read this now, that's where I'm at.
So just from the title Outlands, where do you think that might fall within the space of the universe?
Well, it's got to be what they're building up with these Covenant people. There's got to be something going on. Unless they're going right past the aliens,
It could be going past the other way to the outer spiral, like you talked about, where you said that there's a...
Yeah.
They said that there was a stop and they wouldn't let anybody pass.
The Covenant, isn't it?
Yeah, when have the humans let that actually ever happened? You know what I mean? That's not a thing. We keep going. We'll find a way through there, type of thing.
Jason said he read it.
Are we right, Jason? Is it past the Covenant?
Okay, here's the blurb. Admiral John Blackjack Geary may have saved the Alliance only to destroy it. Oh, we may get some spoilers. I'm sorry.
Spoilers, people. Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to read it. It's definitely spoilers. Definitely.
I did read a bit of the blurb, and there was a few things. It sounds like there's someone big coming, but that's what I'm trying to work out. Where's this big people coming from?
Yeah, definitely spoilers.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be good.
Now we have to keep pushing forward even quicker. So what did you guys think though of the dancers' reactions with the actual Earthlings? You know what I mean? The people on Earth when they were doing that whole body transfer.
What did they do? Did they do anything? I can't remember.
Yeah, so they went down and they to actual Kansas, if you choose anywhere in the world, and the UN basically was trying to get that, and they're like, no, we're going to go to Kansas and give the family to the body, and then the way that was explained about why that location.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did the aliens come out and kiss them or do that hug thing that they did? They didn't do nothing, though, did they? They didn't
touch foreheads, right?
Is that what they done? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kiss thing. That's what I called the kiss thing. They did that. Yeah. Okay, I was listening to it in the car for dropping my kid back, but because it was so hot, I had the windows open, so I couldn't actually hear. I've got the cranked up on my ear, but it's bursting with drums.
Are you still actually streaming?
I like that. That was good. I think they're very quiet. They don't talk, do they? So is it clicking? Is it a click noise they do?
It's almost done.
You're talking about
the aliens,
It's almost done.
the dancers. Is it like a click noise they make?
Yeah, they usually do the connection with their claws.
Fingers, that's it, yeah.
Because they basically have a worm-like entity appendage inside of pincher claws.
Yeah.
See,
Go on.
Commander Avon and Jason Henry are down here like talking about how good the book is. I'm like,
Oh, crap.
we're so far behind.
We're so far behind.
I was about to say something.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Nice.
Yeah, Commander Avon automatically gets bonus points though for that wonderful sports icon.
He is a machine when it comes to reading. Now, I know he's been doing some personal stuff at the moment. He's reading slow down a bit. Now, when you say he's reading slows down, he still probably does all three of us anyway. Like, he goes like, I read like 8 books a week. 8 books a week. Like, if I'm on a good run, and that's with listening and reading, I can do that in a month. Like,
Yeah.
And he's like, I do it in a week. You know, and he goes, I've got a friend who can do even more than me.
Wow. I mean,
Take my hands off to you. Like,
yeah, that's dedication there. He gets to enjoy it more though, because he gets all that extra.
Yeah. Now, you know that planet, the Syndics did that trap on the planet where they made like basically like a big nuclear shotgun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, part of me wanted that to go off and not deal a bad blow to them, but I wanted to kind of like feel like they're in danger. Do you kind of understand what I mean by that? Like every single task, they're pretty much done. You know, no one's really in grave danger, I felt. And I sort of felt for a midway book, if they would have lost just someone, it could have been like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? The Syndics are going to have to pay. But as of now, apart from they lost that the ship, but that was a new captain anyway. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? He's not like one of the old guys. You know what I mean?
They lost 2 other ships as well when they were doing the defending, but they were smaller ships.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like because you think we've lost quite a few major characters across the first series, didn't we? You know,
we lost a ton of ships in the first one, but we've barely lost any ships this time around.
Bug flying around. Yeah.
We did lose a few when we were in the big kick fight and the Enigma fight, but ever since then, I think we've lost maybe 1 ship. Like, it's been pretty tame.
But has anyone named died? Anyone who sort of think, oh, damn.
Not lately.
No.
He's got to be saving that for the last bit.
We've added more. As the series got on, we started with more key characters than we. That's
good. That means the last book we're gonna get like. That's what I want. I want Ed to roll, and he like, damn, no.
Is Steadfast the last one, or is there one? I think there's one more after that one, right?
There's 5 books. Yeah, so it's Leviathan is the last one. Steadfast is 4.
Like I read like the first 2 pages of Steadfast, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until we do the live stream. I don't want to get it mixed up.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I finished. So I finished this today, like a couple hours before we started this, because I come back, and I did it 2-3 days on audio, and I'm still fuzzy with some information. It's so hard to retain. I have to write stuff down. It's terrible.
I did the second one on audio, and it was on YouTube. I got it for free, but I didn't want to buy them on Audible because they're expensive.
Can you not get the deal?
Yeah, I took advantage of the deal and when I got it. It was a small time event though. You had to catch it when they come up.
No, the deal with what I've got, I get if you phone them up, they offer you deals for more tokens cheaper. So I get 24 tokens, and it works out about £4 where they usually cost £7. So pretty much half price because you're buying a big bulk once a year. But you have to phone them up. They don't offer this to you, or you can't get on the computer.
I've never heard of that. See, what I get is it's like $14 a month, and then every so often they'll offer me like if I buy 3 for like $25, I can get 3 for $25.
So I get 3 for £11, which probably conversion maybe works out, give or take. I don't know.
And then they do a 2 for 1 deal every now and then, but it's certain books.
But I think they do. I think I pay £7 a month for 1 token normally, but because I phoned them up, I asked them, do you deals, or they offered me the deal or something that like you just get 24, but it works out like not half the price of what you pay anyway. So you basically get 2 tokens for 1 what you'd pay normally.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they have two big sales during the year. Their best deal of the year is the June July summer sale. It's better than the
Perfect.
yeah. I think it's just if it's not over, it's just ended.
I picked a bunch of books up doing that.
That's
nice.
it's like 70% off. A huge selection, and then they do a Black Friday deal and a Cyber Monday deal. Those time frames there. So they have like $5 deals and certain percent off deals. But if you go to, I still pay the $15 a month because I value it, right? But I will recommend friends that are, every time they get a little bit hesitant, I say go to the Audible website, tell them you want to cancel your subscription. It gives you a list of options of which ones you want to cancel. Choose the one because it's price. They're going to offer you that same subscription for half the price. It's like $7 a month, and
Really,
and you could sign up for that, and then you just keep it, and you just pay the $7 because they rather have you on the platform for something than not have you on there at all. So,
like, I'm gonna stay no matter what, but like I like saving money.
No, I definitely
Don't you? If you phone them up and say you want to cancel, they might offer you a deal to stay as well. So they might half it. It's worth looking into that as well.
I might look into that.
It's definitely a thing.
What have you guys looked into any new series that is similar? Because I'm a judge for the self-published science fiction competition starting next month.
On what's his channel? It's
SFF.
Well, no, it's Mark Lawrence did one for fantasy a few years ago, where like it's everybody who's self-published is they are given an opportunity to. We have 333 books submitted, so I'm excited. It's the science fiction self-published competition, or self-published science fiction competition, and I'm on Scott from Book Invasion's team, but the guy who wrote Wool, Hugh Howey, and Duncan Swan, I'm reading his book Monster right now. They both run it, and I think it's gonna be really, really cool to find some new books. So I might let y'all be like, hey, check this one out. Check this one out.
So a self-published one that I really enjoyed recently, but by far my favorite sci-fi self-pub is the Bobbyverse. But besides that, there's one called Space Assassins by. Let me grab this.
I think I've seen that one.
So they had a bundle on Audible by Scott Barron. So for the first two books, and the first one's just a little novella. It's Interstellar Slayer.
That looks cool.
And then the Vespis Blade.
Oh, no.
And to me, this was like a summer blockbuster kind of thing, right? Like super fast paced, very action heavy. There's good world building in it. And you kind of have like a Mandalorian bounty hunter kind of like there's a group that has a cultural identity that goes out and does missions, and those are the assassins, and they got advanced weaponry, like a little bit of fantasy added into that, of like this special weapon type of thing. So it was very good, very much eat your popcorn while you're listening to an audiobook, and just enjoy the ride kind of thing.
There are some really good like indie authors. I don't know, Rick Partlow's. I don't know if you listened to his Drop Troopers.
But I have it on my TBR.
Yeah, that's the audio book of that is amazing. Like I'd listen to that on audio. That's really, really, really good. And I think he's got 5 of the Kindles out and 6 of the Kindles out and 3 of the audios. If you want some good ship fighting with a little bit of ground, but mostly ship fighting, Blood on the Stars by Jay Allen. Like he's got, I think he's on the 16th. It's on the 16th or the 18th book, and it's the last one coming out this year. It's a huge series. I'm up to 6, book 6. That's amazing. Like every single one is great. I'll give you a little idea. So basically, Earth had a big empire. Something happened. We wiped ourselves out, and then you just got pockets of what's left of the outer rim of what Earth Empire was. and now they've grown up in their own power, and they're basically battling it out as they're growing bigger. And then they've got like where Earth or where the old empire used to be, there's like artifacts about, so they go and find stuff and they just kill each other and ships fight. It's amazing, really good.
What's the name of the book? I typed in the author and I can't find it.
So it's Blood on the Stars series. The first one's called Duel in the Dark, and then there's 16 or 18 of them. The last one's
in the dark. Okay.
Yeah. Regarding the audio, this first one was audioed by one guy, and then the rest of them were all audioed by someone completely different. Because the first guy did talk very slowly, like this.
Okay.
Really
I was spelling it wrong.
And I actually sped it up the first time. I've never sped any audios up, and I sped it up, and it was a lot faster. And I've never changed actually since then because the guy was so slow.
That's how I started too. I was listening to the Hamilton autobiography, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's talking like this." And I was like, "Let me try 1.5." I was like, "Okay, this is fine." By the time I listened to the Grant autobiography at 2.5, I was like, "This is good sometimes, not all the time." I stay about 2.
When you have a guy who's got a voice actor who can do a lot of voices, I find when you're going too fast, you just miss their voices, and they if they're putting like an accent on, it just sort of like blur. So like I kind of stick it like between 1.2 and 1.5, depending on who's saying it, because I like to really drain it. I like the information.
I have to slow Dresden Files down because Mr. James Marsters, he's a really good voice actor.
Yeah,
and
you want to appreciate the work, don't you?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to the Dresden on Audible and stuff like that. I think I'm on book 8 now, or book 7. I
just finished book 6. Well, not just finished, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Another guy, sorry, M.R. Forbes. It's M.R. Forbes. He's got quite a lot of books out, but he's got this Forgotten universe, which a bit rundown.
I've got some of his audiobooks on my thing.
He's got a couple different series. I've only listened to like the Forgotten side, but basically these things called Trife rocked up on Earth and smashed us. Have you watched that new film that's come out, Tomorrow War, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
So imagine that without the futuristic, these things turned up huge slaughterish, yeah? That's basically, if you read the books, you think that's a Trife, but they don't quite look like that without the spiky things. But anyway, the Trife Hammerums, what they do, they make these ships, they send all these ships out to get us to scat about because the Trife have done us. And then basically they start making empires out because they get technology, they find other aliens, all these different things happen, but a lot of the stories are from the individual ships that go out and what happens on the adventures, but then they end up relinking and tying. It's like a big loads of single stories that all tie in, and then they sort of converge in, and there's a big baddie. And it's quite a big, some are better than others, but it's some really cool stuff that happened. And on his website, it's got a list of where to read if you want to read it in a story order.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of the series you can read from whatever order you want, but you might find some information out with reading another book. You're like, what's this? Because they don't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's really good,
That sounds kind of like what they were trying to do with Alien Covenant, where they had the engineers and they were like trying to go out and like change planets and all kinds of stuff, but they just didn't do it very well.
Yeah.
Have you seen Alien Covenant? Like, it's interesting, but like they try to explain what the xenomorphs are,
and they changed.
They changed things, and then like they had these big engineers, and like all of the things that happened with engineers, and I mean they had a bunch of story that they probably should have told in 2 movies, but I like Alien. I think it's a great series, but Covenant was bad.
That's awesome. You're under it.
Yeah, it's just the way they just they killed all the everyone wanted to know what the engineer. The space jockeys originally, weren't they? Everyone wanted to know what they was, because the first one you ever saw, it was like fossilized. This thing come out. There was eggs everywhere. What happened? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, they make humans. Cool. Oh, they're all dead. Great. I mean, since the first movie, it was 19 whatever it was, 19 wartime, right? And everyone wanted to know. And now we've got them, and they're dead because a robot killed them. Who was pissed? What? Why?
Yeah,
why
it was all over the place. And supposedly, like, there's a sequel too where like she flew to the engineer plant. I haven't watched it yet because Covenant was so bad, but I'll have to find out if they're any good. I'm still trying to make my way through Sharknado, so I'm up to Sharknado 4.
Yeah, we've gone from talking about Lost Fleets to like talking about absolute roundwork crap. But you know what? It's an extra. It's an absolute extra. Right, let's just go back to that. Do you know what we will do? We'll do a podcasting thing where we just talk about books, just whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
I reckon maybe next week after, I want to do a Sunday because if it works out for everyone.
Well, if we do another writing one, Working Man Reads wanted to do the writing one.
Yes, yes. Okay.
I told him about that.
We'll get a thingy bob up tomorrow, and then we'll work out when we can book it in. And if you, Carlos, are you writing a book? Would you like to join us?
I'm not writing the book.
Well, how about then? We start writing the book now, sir, and then you can come join us.
But I'll be happy to view it.
I've almost got my short story done, and I'm just gonna put it out there and let everybody read it and tell me, like, just give me the feedback. Be like, hey, this is what sucks. That way, because I need people to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I've done a bit on it. I've progressed further. I know everything that's happening, but I've just been slacking so bad between the kids and just everything's going on with the school because they keep. Someone catches corona, so then the whole school's at home. So we've got school. I've got to do all the work at home, so I can't do no writing because I've got to teach this child something. You know, or he's got to be on the computer learning stuff. Now we're on the holidays, which is fine, but it's just been so difficult. And
so if one kid got corona that had sent everybody home.
So basically, what happens in the school, if one kid tests positive in the class, that year group or that class group have to go home and do a 10-day self-isolate to see if they show symptoms. Which is fine, you know. I'm at home anyway with the children, but I can't do no writing. I can't do nothing because he has to be on the computer because they're doing school learning with the teacher. So he's just sitting here like watching the screen, like I don't know what's going on because the teacher's just yabbering. But not her fault. It's just kid. How do you expect a 7-year-old to look at a screen and do work? You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. So yeah. And then the little baby wants to come in here, then the other one wants to come in here, and then they fight because they can't come in here. Then they fight me because they can't come in here. So why is it my fault? I ain't done this. I don't make other laws. Like, don't leave me alone. I just want to feed you. Come on, be happy.
We had like a certain percentage and like direct contact, so that like they do like contact tracing. And I think if they would shut the school down if you had more than like 4%, I think is what it ended up being. So like if you got to 5% of the school getting corona, they shut the whole school back down. But we never got to that point.
Yeah, well, our kids all dirty. They were slobbering each other. And the little kids like, spread the love.
So yeah, so man, overall
the book, yes,
the book, best book, best book in the
yes.
in at least this portion of the series so far.
I agree. The first book was good. I liked it because it kind of kicked off from the cliffhanger. Was it cliffhanger?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't cliffhanger. Yeah, no, it ended. It ended with a cliffhanger. Yeah. It was a bit slow. No, it was slow getting going, wasn't it?
It was so much. Very slow.
That's start. Sorry, I mixed the book. I combined the end of Lost Fleet and then the second book's all into one then because this is definitely the best book. Ignore me. Yeah.
No. Your point was right. I think it was just like a book. The first book was slow, left with cliffhanger. Second book picked up.
Yes.
New introduction of
just chasing and rushing, wasn't it? They're like going on. That's it. Yeah.
And then this book is definitely tied a lot of elements together, coming back through Syndic's. We got to see what was happening with them now. Know that the actual, at least the possibility of the real, the Syndic's, the government structure is not completely fractured. They still have a bite to them.
And they're still playing the same games.
Exactly.
And that twist at the end of like, oh, new humans, something might be over here. That it wasn't a one-on-one fight, but just Dauntless fighting them ships was quite nice. Mm-hmm. You really got to see how the ship went and worked. I like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
I had a conversation on one of my YouTube videos. Guy had said, "Well, what do you think about like a TV show for this series?" And I said, "I think that would be great. We would just have to put like 2 to 3 books per season. Like there's so much like repeat talk of the series, so you could probably do like." For the first series, book 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. On this one, I think you could do like 1, 2, and 3 as one season of TV, just because it's kind of had so much waiting
Yeah,
Unless
it has a great arc too to end the season with.
did any of you watch Battlestar Galactica?
A little bit.
Yeah, like the newer one they done. I mean, like you didn't always get lots of fighting because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with the characters, the drama with the crew and stuff. Like, you know, when the fights kicked off, it's like, finally, let's go. They could probably do something that's similar with this. They would have to have a lot more point of views. You couldn't just be obviously Geary only. Like, they could not drag it out, but they could spread it because when they're in like flight, you know, they're jumping from planet to planet or whatever. System to system. They could have like an episode of doing that, but internal stuff's going on, you know, like when they're trying to, like the worms and all that stuff, they could drag that out, not drag out, but they could spread it out and like give us more information. You know what I mean? Like they could do.
You're saying you would be like expanding upon what the book says. So when they have
could
like
the
love, the romances, and the
maybe not so much that stuff. I mean, you know, like I mean, you know, the sailors gamble, don't they? There's all like these dodgy men doing weird stuff. We like, you know, they could be trying to like. There's got to be obviously people trying to figure out what's going on and you know, investigations of who these dodgy people are. You know, looking at whatever weird stuff they're looking at, like, you know, the ships, you know, they smuggle on alcohol and there's all these little things going on. Like, you know, they could flesh out the world more for a TV show.
We kind of got it in this book with Iger having a crush on Jameson, right?
Yeah.
Is it the hair's not going to put you off, is it? What the hell? What do you mean?
Yeah. He was like all flustered with Jameson. Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. I think it'd would be a pretty good TV show series, like, you know, not a big budget, nothing like that. I think it would be more interesting if and I don't know what happens in Lost Stars, is if they had three POVs in terms of the culture. So like we don't know, there's this mystery about what's going back on at Earth. I think it would be more interesting if like whenever that comes out or whatever that is, we get that interspersed with, right, we're doing this stuff, we find the dancers, and then, you know, you cut back and somebody's make political moves back on Sol, you know, system, and
they did that with the Expanse.
Doing it, yeah, that's why I say it, yeah, you know, so it would break up, you know, some of the kind of because it's kind of there is a formula to these books a little bit, if you know, where it's like, you know, kind of a cliffhanger. Answer whatever the cliffhanger is.
Well, go into these things. Yeah. Each book has to,
go into. There's a question mark of stuff we don't know, and then there's some kind of new species or new group of some group that we already knew about, but these guys are their own thing. And well, what is that? And then there's a fight scene or two, and then you go on. You know,
can't make Geary know everything. Ask random sailor.
Right.
Must still get answer though.
So
you know, like.
I had that same thought because we were when we got back to Verendal, I was like, I'm at like 70%. Like, there's a lot of book left.
Yeah.
Here. Like, we're gonna have to fight somebody else. Who are we gonna fight?
Exactly.
And, I was like, okay.
Yeah. So even though it feels like there's a little bit of formula, never when I'm in the book do I feel like I'm just being treated to like a business transaction, you know what I mean?
There's still enough mystery.
Yeah,
to pull us on to like, okay, I want to know what this is about, because they even teased about. Geary goes, I don't know what the free thing is. You know what I mean? It's like just to be like, just so we know, to be like, yeah, what is that free thing about? Actually, I'm going to read the next book. You might find out. That's, you know, it is like that. Definitely. They're going to turn up again. Definitely, the enigmas are going to turn up. I think. I don't know. Right, is there anything else you guys want to chat about? Because we've gone an hour. Now, I'm happy to keep talking, but I do need to go to sleep. So, but I do want to do a chat where we just talk books and just crap with each other, just for sheer fun, rather than actual subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys go on to become, you know, world-class authors, and you know, discuss how to make that great. I'll be happy to view that, and then I'll catch the next one when we just get to just you know, go on about books and whatnot and just geek out.
Perfect.
Well, if you want to join us, me and Unity were talking about doing Trader's Blade.
Yes, you tell us about this.
So it'd be a fantasy series this time. It's the Great Coat series. I don't know much about it, but I know a lot of people like it. Yeah, he's got it right there. I have it on Kindle.
Sebastian de Castillo.
Yeah, have you read it?
The first one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
I've read the first one. I haven't gone on yet, but it's definitely worth your time.
So we were talking about starting a read along with it next month. So maybe you could join us for the live stream on it, and then you can read book 2 with us.
Hey,
or if you want to reread book 1, you can. That's up to you.
No, yeah, definitely. No, I'll definitely be happy to go through that.
So, but yeah, Joe was like, "Yeah, let's do a fantasy book." I was like, "Okay, I've got this one. I've been meaning to read it, so bought the whole series on Kindle, and I'm excited to read that one too."
Yeah, Amazon is quite cheap. It's like £3 and £4 per actual book. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
buy and take back and I
Yeah, I think-
a football video.
I think I paid $15 for all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I looked at. We have a really good. I'm in Nashville. I'm just outside of Nashville, and we have a really good bookstore. Just this giant thing, and somebody had all 4 books in there. And they're like $5-6 a piece for the hardbacks. I was like,
Perfect. And a hardback as well. Nice.
so.
Yeah, the Expanse series is one I want to do too. I've read the first one and liked it, and found all of I found all of them for like $5 at Half Price Books, and
nice.
I was like, I picked up 9 books. I was like walking up to the counter, with your
Hey. Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything else you want to chat about, or we're all happy? Anything you want to chat about the book? I'm happy to keep going if you want to chat about the book. Anything?
Yeah, all I want
I'm
to say
good.
is that I'm really excited about where the book's leaving us. The only thing I wish in the series that I hope, and maybe it'll come in the future, and I get it, is I really want to be in the Marines thing. So it'd be nice to have Syndics. If they just did a novella of like one off to get it kind of in their head about how things are, that would have been really cool, I think. So maybe we get it in Genesis.
Possibly. You never know. Right. Well, thank you for joining me. Much obliged. Thank you, Carlos, for being here on time. Do appreciate you, but not like, I had to put it back by like 10 minutes. And I think, is anyone turning up?
I'm sorry.
Like, right, I'm on my own now. I'm going to cancel it. What's going to happen?
We went out to go take the trash to the dump, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I got to be back. It's at 4:00." And then I went, "Oh no, wait, we changed it. It's fine. I don't have to rush." And then I get back at like 4:15. I'm like, "Oh no, they're already started."
Yeah, because it not really matters, but like I said, "Oh, do you want to do 5 or 4?" And I think, I don't know. Basically, it was because of Admiral Star Night. So I was like, "Do you want to do 5?" It's bitch said, "No, I'm working early, so I'll be there for 4." Perfect. Where are you? You're not here. Another one.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I thought we were moving back to 5. I'm sorry about that. My bad.
No, that's not your fault. No. That's all right. Forgive.
No, it was great. We got to chat some football, and and
you even replied. Look, it's here. I said, can do an hour later if it helps others. I think Admiral Star Night finishes at 4. She goes 4 p.m. He said, it's fine. I work early shifts that day. I'm like, and then you go, sweet, can't wait. I'm like, perfect. We're all set 4 o'clock.
That was for the wait. That was for doing later. I didn't see the.
Even your message before. I'm good with either. 9 is good for me. That's 4 p.m. Eastern in the USA.
I was good with either one. I thought I had done.
I'm just joking. I don't care.
You're gonna yank all your legs off.
My woman, she loves me dearly, but apparently I'm the most annoying person she's ever known. I'm such a wind-up. I creep in the house sometimes, and she's like doing something, and I go up the side of her ribs. She's like, ah! Like, so bad. I'm such a terror. Right, anyway, thank you for coming. Much obliged. Until the next one, everyone, goodbye. Thank you, people, for coming in the chat as well.